Bright Star. So I just got done recording this video and it turned out to be about 30 minutes. So as I went along, I explained more, I delved more in, and if that's not something that you really are interested in or you don't feel that you have the time for, I would have you know that the primary content is presented on each slide, along with all the happy doodles to brighten your day and to help you smile and laugh. But the valuable content that you're looking for the nutrition basics and the easy prep is on each slide as they are presented. So feel free, if you just want the bare bones and you don't feel that you have the full 30 minutes, go ahead, fast forward and read the content on your own. Just, adjust, read, adjust, and read, and there you go. You'll still get a high value of information to guide your choices. I would also offer to you that you can get a printable copy of this talk as a $1-ish download, which is on my website, and you can get the link available in the description. So I hope that this helps. Please take care of yourself, have a great day, and catch you next time. Bye! Hey, welcome to Moaning Zombie, Love from Mary Kate. I'm Mary Kate, and it is lovely to have you here. Today we're going to take a look at feeding chronic fatigue syndrome and other fatigue-encumbered health challenges through nutrition basics and easy prep. So Moaning Zombie, here at Moaning Zombie, I have a caring about you overarching umbrella, which is to help nurture and nourish mental, emotional, and physical wellness and well-being through offerings of happy and healing support for daily living actions and activities. It's kind of like, I guess, my mission statement, so to speak. And so some of the core critical aspects to healing and feeling better are getting sufficient quality sleep, eating anti-inflammatory, nutrient-dense foods, hydrating like we're fish, getting movement and breath into our bodies, nurturing and a healing mindset, and creating and nurturing positivity. And these are kind of like, I guess you'd say, like the 5 pillars, which I base pretty much everything on. And so they're my goals here at Moaning Zombie, is through as many activities and actions that I can share from my own experience and from my own learning, provide you with these critical aspects, ways to do these, ways to grow these into your life. So today's quick chat is going to focus on eating well through ideal nutritional basics and having access that is created by ease of preparation to the foods that we need. So this would fall under, I suppose if you want to call it a pillar, the eating anti-inflammatory nutrient-dense foods pillar. So we're just going to start off right away with our actions and our activities. We want to be purposeful because not feeling well sucks. Our bodies are busy doing stuff behind the scenes that we don't always understand, and we often just simply don't feel great having to experience the chronic challenges that we are faced with. And so it can be very easy to feel like we don't have any control with our healing. And so I would offer to you, we can actually make healing and helpful choices, and we can do lots and lots. So one of the things, or in this case, 2 of the things that we can do through our purposeful actions is to make informed choices that nurture and nourish our wellness and healing. And we can empower and grow ourselves to help us feel better and get better. These are my goals. These are the things I kind of aim for in my daily life. And so they're pretty helpful, generally speaking. So I'm sharing them with you. A major thing I remind myself of all the time, especially because I have chronic fatigue syndrome and I am very tired. I'm very fatigued. Tired doesn't even cut it. I'm fatigued and weak and encumbered by my health challenges, and so it can be very difficult to engage in activities. And so I remind myself that every little bit you do is better than not doing anything at all. It is kind of a core premise in my brain. It's a positive attitude, positude. It's something that I remind myself all the time to get myself to engage even the most minimal of things rather than just simply, and it's not simple, but rather than remaining on the couch or in the bed, I encourage myself with these loving words. And I remind myself that when I do these things, I make a difference. I make a positive difference in my healing and my coping. So today, in feeding CFS and other fatigue-encumbered health challenges, we want to talk about some very basic nutritional things. So, for instance, balanced meals, and we're going to talk about what that means. But so that's getting healthy carbs, fats, and proteins to meet our nutritional needs and goals. Because women living with a fatigue-encumbered health challenge, such as CFS or fibromyalgia, perimenopause, menopause, and or an autoimmune disease, can help improve their healing, your healing, and how you feel through nutrient-dense nutrition. It's just basics. It's just the basics of biology. When we feed ourselves really, really good nutrition, we do better. And it's a concept that even just comes from over and above, say, common sense, but it's shown in the laboratory. I, once upon a time, was a pharmaceutical scientist and I worked in the lab. And we, when we would culture or grow microbial species, we would give them the best of the best unless we wanted to stress them and then provide a particular stress by giving them a missing nutrient to see how that would impact their growth. But if we wanted them to grow vigorously, we would give them the best that we could possibly give them in nutrition. And that is a concept that just simply holds with life. If we want to do well, if we want to feel better, if we want to nurture and nourish our wellness, then we really want to kind of scoop in there and get the nutrient-dense food to really help our bodies do what they need to do. So how you balance your healthy carbs and your healthy proteins and your healthy fats depends on your nutritional needs and goals. And so we're just going to very quickly, this is the most content-dense slide that we have. But we're very quickly just going to touch on why healthy fats, healthy proteins, and healthy carbs are important. So for instance, healthy fats are necessary for hormone production, healthy cell production, healthy brain, healthy tissues, it goes on and on and on. So there's so many things. Those fats are they're integral for the function, the structure of these things. So getting hormone production, if you don't have healthy fats, you can't produce hormones. Your brain, it needs healthy fats. Your body needs healthy fats. So this isn't the time to restrict healthy fats. Getting bad fats out of our diet, great, but or the way that we eat, that's awesome. But healthy fats, we need a good hearty dose of those. Healthy proteins. Healthy proteins help us build and maintain muscles, which as we age, we have to work harder to maintain our muscles because we just naturally start to lose that muscle mass. It's harder to maintain it. So our muscles are vital, for instance, for burning fat. So when we are perimenopausal or menopausal and we have lost our estrogen and we have a harder time necessarily sometimes getting around and doing things, but when we're perimenopausal and menopausal, one of the very common symptoms of this hormone transition is to put on additional visceral fat. Even if you didn't change anything about what you do and how you do it every day, you didn't change what exercise you did, and you didn't change the food that you eat, your body, just for being perimenopausal, menopausal, it will take on a higher percentage of visceral fat. And I forget I don't want to be quoted on this, but I think it was like 15% increase, even if I think it was 15%, but don't quote me on that. But it is, it's an automatic, it doesn't matter whether you've changed anything, it just happens. It's just part of this process. And so when you have muscle, when you build muscle, you burn the fat. So when you have muscle, you help burn the fat. So the first thing that they tell you to do is when you're trying to get rid of that visceral fat, which is, kind of like, think about visceral fat. It's like belly fat, but it also tends to coat your organs. Like the fat can go around your liver, for instance, and that's just not a good thing. So having muscles helps you burn that fat and get rid of it. Of course, muscles are vital for having strength and balance, and as we do those types of activities to maintain and strengthen our muscles, we also then improve our bone density. So muscles, proteins, good. So we need a healthy dose of proteins. All right, so now we need a healthy dose of fats and we need a healthy dose of proteins. We also need a healthy dose of carbs. And I know that carbs, especially in today's world, are something that really kind of gets oh no, it's an evil, nasty word, carbs. But there's a difference between healthy carbs and unhealthy carbs. Healthy carbs are really super important. They provide easy energy for the body, but they also provide fiber, which is absolutely crucial for gut health. And our gut health is where our microbiome, most of it lives. And our gut health and our microbiome health, that is where we get a huge amount, almost all of our immunity and our immune system. It's so incredibly vital. So you need the fiber if you want to have an immune system. So you need to get carbs because fats and proteins have no fiber. You don't get any fiber from them. The place where you get fiber is through healthy carbs. And also, all of those awesome healing plant compounds, chlorophylls, the greens, the yellows and the oranges of carotenoids. Oh my goodness, all of these beautiful plant pigments and plant compounds, they come from the color of the rainbow, and they come from plants. I guess what I really meant to say was they are the colors of the rainbows that come from colors of the rainbows found in plants. There, I said it better. So you need those. Those are anti-inflammatory. They bring inflammation down. They're the healing compounds. They are awesome, and we need those. So if we want all of those beautiful, delicious healing compounds from plants, well, we're going to need to eat those carbs because that's where we get them from. Plants are our healthy carbs. And we're going to talk more about those in just a moment. So what I would say about each meal is that you want to eat a combination of healthy carbs, proteins, and fats. Now, if you go out on the computer and you start looking around, so what is the percentage? Do I want to eat like equal amounts of each? Do I want to eat more protein? Do I want to eat more healthy fats? Do I want to eat more carbs? Honestly, there are so many different ratios out there, it can get mind-boggling. So what I would tell you is a couple of things. First of all, what you want at every single meal is healthy carbs, healthy fats, healthy proteins. And whatever the combination that you're getting them in should be there to meet your goals. Well, our goals are to make sure that we don't lose our muscle mass, to make sure that we can build hormones, and to help our bodies heal with those plant compounds. So for me, I kind of look at it as I'm not going out of my way to see if I can balance the actual ratios at every meal. I just know that every meal I want to make sure that I'm getting very healthy carbs, very good plant sources. I want to make sure that I'm getting very good proteins and very good healthy fats. And we're going to talk about what qualifies as these things in just a couple of moments. And so what I would say is that for those of you who are like, well, I don't want to spike my blood sugar, that is a valid concern. And when we spike our blood sugar, we introduce inflammation into the body, which does not help us. And to keep in mind that all of the health challenges that I mentioned at the top, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, menopause, perimenopause, autoimmune diseases, all of these health challenges are already in and of themselves inflammatory illnesses. And so we don't want any more inflammation. They already come with inflammation. And I actually don't want to call perimenopause and menopause an illness. They're a natural transition of the body, but they are referred in the science as inflammation events. If you can call decades events, an event. So, however, back to the sugar. So you really want to be very careful about when you have these carbs, because they are natural sugars. They can be simple sugars or complex sugars. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to add in additional sugar. Like, you know how you'll go and you make a cake and you put all that sugar in there? That ain't good sugar. That's not a good carb. But even if you're working with healthy carbs, you can spike your blood sugar levels if you don't eat them within the framework of a balanced meal. So what I would have you know as a take-home message is that when you eat carbs, you need all of that fiber and you need all of those healing compounds. But in order to prevent those blood sugar spikes, you really want to make sure you balance it out with protein, your healthy protein and your healthy fats. And that's a good thing. So in summary for this little bit, you need carbs for all the super healing plant compounds and fiber, and you need to eat protein and fat with them so that it can help you eat them with a more stable blood sugar. So some quick examples of healthy foods that fall into each of these categories. So for healthy fats, these are going to be things like nuts and seeds, olive oil, coconut oil, ghee, and avocado. Healthy proteins, for instance, are going to be bone broth, whey protein, unsweetened soy milk or soy product, eggs, and organic regenerative dairy. Now, mind you, I would throw out there that my diet, and I really hate the word diet, but I use it because everybody calls it a diet, but I like to refer to it just as my meal plan, what I eat, because I don't want it to sound like I'm on a diet. I'm not on a diet. I eat for nutritional wellness and healing. And so I don't have any calorie restriction, I suppose, is the way to look at that. So this is more just like the foods that I eat. And so overall, I would throw out there that to get some of the other toxic compounds, pesticides and whatnot, I eat a fully organic diet, and I'm moving even towards organic and regenerative, which is a story, ladies, for another day. But I just wanted to throw out there, just because I did say organic regenerative dairy, this isn't the only thing that I would eat organic. It's very important that if you are going to do dairy, organic regenerative dairy is, generally speaking, it's the better way to go, and it's better for digestion and all of so many things. So just for now, take my word for it. If you have questions about it and you want me to dig into that a little bit more, throw it into the comment section and I will get back on that for you. So for healthy carbs, these are going to be things like fruits and vegetables, beans, lentils, and whole grains. Good. So those are some examples of healthy foods that you can focus your meal planning and the foods that you consume. You can focus your efforts on these types of things. So I want to throw out there this concept that every bite counts. You want to choose healthy fats and carbs and proteins that are in line with your nutritional needs, and you want to be nutrient dense so that you can get the healing power, because every bite that you eat can be something that helps heal you, or it can be something that doesn't help heal you. And so you want that power punch, pow, pow, pow. So keep in mind, we are always seeking to have hormone production and brain health, muscle and bone health, fiber and all the colors of the rainbow. We want to help ourselves get as much anti-inflammatory, nutrient-dense food to supercharge our power healing and to supercharge and to power our healing, and since we are already in an inflamed state, to try to help remove and reduce that inflammation as much as possible. I have learned with chronic fatigue syndrome, Lord Almighty, I have some extreme days, and even just generally speaking, if the food that I need to eat takes too long to make, or if it's hard to make, it doesn't get done. I don't get to it. I don't have the energy for that. I don't have the time in my day to do that. I might only get a few hours of usable day. And so I can't be spending, I mean, I could, but I don't want to spend all of that time in the kitchen laboring over a meal. No, no, no. I want to make it easy and I want to make it fast. So the longer it takes for you to make a food, clean up, the less likely I feel we are to do it. At least that's my experience. So it is, again, to know if you have a chronic illness that impacts your daily life, it is absolutely imperative that you create ease for yourself to empower being able to eat nutrient-dense foods daily. You know, it's one thing if you're a super healthy person and you eat something that isn't the greatest for you because you're in a rush or on the go, then okay, it's a transient kind of thing, hopefully. But when you're chronically ill and you're chronically challenged to need to improve your health, you can't just be reaching for the easiest non-nutrient dense food. That's not healthy. That's not good for you. So if it's too complicated or it exceeds your energy levels to prep, you're more likely to grab something that is easy and healing, and is simply counterproductive, and it's actually very undesirably self-destructive. So we need to create the ease so that will help us get the foods that we need to help power our bodies. Thus, I will be having recipes. I'll be sharing, this is kind of laying a foundation for the foods that I eat and the foods that I have learned to eat, and all of that coming up in future videos. So, an overall nutrition basic. Go big and then taper down throughout the day so that you can fuel your day. So you want to go big for your first meal and then taper off throughout the day. It does a lot of things, but one is to help with digestion, and two, you've been in, for the idea of the word breakfast, break fast, it means that you have been fasting generally through your resting hours, and then the first meal that you eat, you're breaking that fast. So you want to provide your body with just super healing. You want to give it massive nutrition, and it's been waiting. So it is ready to get in there and engage and digest. So my first meal, and I don't call it breakfast for me, I call it first meal, because over the years, with my schedule being all over the place, I never know really when I'm going to wake up. I don't really know when I'm going to sleep. I don't know when I'm going to be too exhausted to move. I don't know. I just kind of have to take every day as they come to me. So I may only get one meal. So I just started calling it first meal. And also people were like, why are you eating breakfast at 10 o'clock at night? Well, I've only been awake for a few hours and this is the first meal that I'm about to eat. So, I got tired of explaining why I was eating breakfast at weird times. And so I just decided, well, this is technically my first meal, so I just call it first meal. But I make sure that if it's going to be the only meal that I get in the day, it is all of the things. It is nutrient dense. It has healthy fats, healthy protein, healthy carbs, and I go for a big meal. And then I would just throw out there one last thing about the go big and then taper down. As you get closer to when you are going to be sleeping, if you are especially in control of when your body goes to sleep, so that you know that you can kind of plan throughout your day, it is ideal to not eat a lot of protein. So in that idea of like for your last meal of the day, or if you're having a snack later in the evening, it is ideal that you don't do necessarily a whole equal thing. You don't want to eat a lot of protein right before you go to bed. So 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, you want to make sure that you're not eating a ton of protein. And so the reason why is because digestion creates heat in your body. It's just kind of the way it works. But digesting proteins, especially some complex meat proteins, like a steak, for instance, that is a hard thing to digest. It's harder to digest than, say, a nice piece of lean fish. So that last bit, you really don't want to have hard to digest animal proteins, because then it will take more energy. And this is especially true for perimenopausal and menopausal women. The reason being is because the extra heat that it takes to digest those foods, it can it can kind of like promote hot flashes throughout the night. So if you don't want to be having hot flashes and night sweats, try to keep your meat protein, especially, or your non-plant-based proteins, you want to try to keep those earlier in the day, and in the evening go for easier to digest proteins, and don't eat a ton of them right before bed. So with all of this, we're going to wrap it up. So getting the most from the food we eat, we have two main problems that we are addressing. With our fatigue-encumbered health challenges, we face impaired digestion. We do not digest as well. And the same is true, but not for different reasons. As we age, our production of stomach acid decreases. So ladies, as we're getting older and going through perimenopause and menopause, we're losing our stomach acid production. Not completely, but it decreases. And then also, if we have a fatigue encumbered challenge, that is also impairing our digestion. And then all of this creates symptoms of like bloating and gas and nausea and a whole plethora of things. And also, it impairs our ability to absorb and get all of our nutrition. So we want to be very careful. We want to help ourselves. So what can we do to help our bodies help us heal? One, learn to eat nutrition. Eat for nutrition, nutrient-dense nourishment. You want to focus your food choices on how to get those juicy, delicious plant healing compounds, healing proteins, healing essential fatty acids, those healthy fats. You want to focus on those so you can give your body the power it needs to just power up and move on through. And then we want to assist our digestion as much as possible. And so there's a few things that we can do. There's a lot of things, but I'm just going to talk about a few. One, reduce stress. Stress impairs digestion. It will, when our body goes into a state of stress, it causes a whole different physiological state than what we need for rest and digest. So you want to be in a calmer state when you're eating so that your body can do its job really, really well. To that end, I suggest taking, before you sit down, you get all your food and everything, and then before you eat, just take a few moments to take 3 deep, slow, intentional, elongated exhale breaths before eating. Meaning you're going to inhale real slow, you're going to hold, and you're going to exhale like you have forever. Nice and slow and easy. And do that a couple times just to get your parasympathetic nervous system to kick in and to calm you down. You can also play relaxing music. You can play healing frequencies. And you can watch nature in a video looking outside. You can actually go out in nature if you have access to that. So these are just some things. Some counter things like the don't do's, right? Try not to say watch the news or some kind of scary movie that's going to upset your system. Try to be careful about what environment, so to speak, nature, music, sights and sounds, what your natural sights and sounds, what your stimulus, what your environment is. Try to choose something that is going to induce a state of calmness so that when you eat, it gives your body the best chance to do what it needs to do so that you can get the most out of that. And then another thing, I don't know about you, but for my days of being a very busy student and all the things, and being in that go, 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 hurry, 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 I found myself really never having time to really sit and eat meals. So you kind of wolf them down. You just gobble, gobble, gobble as fast as you possibly can. And that also causes challenges. It slows down your digestion, and it also makes it harder to digest your foods completely because you're putting bigger chunks. The first stage of digestion actually comes with chewing. Not only does it break down the foods that you're eating into nice small particles, making it easy for those stomach acids that you do have and your stomach to do the job that it needs to do to digest it, but it also, the chewing coats the food in the first stage of digestive enzymes. So this is incredibly helpful. So you want to get those digestive enzymes and all the stuff and chew. So slow down your eating and macerate your food really well, coat it in its digestive juices, and get the most out of your digestion. And again, if there's anything that I've touched on today that you would like to hear more about, feel free, throw it into the comments and we will talk about it. So as a quick sum up, remember, be purposeful in what you're doing. Make your actions helpful and healing. Be purposeful in your choices, knowing that every little bit that you do is better than not doing anything at all. You make a huge difference. You're awesome. You are instrumental to your healing and to your wellness. And there are so many things that you can do. So even if you just squeeze in an apple that day or an orange, you just get every little bit you do is better than not doing anything at all. Focused on those balanced meals. Make sure that you're getting protein, carbs, and healthy fats at every meal. Know that every bite counts, is a power punch into your healing. Make it as easy and fast as you possibly can. Fuel your day. Give yourself the energy that you're going to need to navigate through the healing and the wellness and the life that you want to do as much as you possibly can with whatever your encumbering challenge is. So I hope that this information has been very helpful for you, and I would have you know that as we move forward, I'm going to be throwing out recipes. I'm going to be sharing recipes, the things that I do, and they're all going to fall into this category. All these little things, every little bit you do, balanced, every bite counts, make it easy and fast, fuel your day, all these things. And so I want to help you do the best that you can with the time and energy that you have to get as much wellness and healing and happiness back into your days. So with that, ladies, I want to wish you a beautiful day. Thank you for being here. I hope that this has been a very helpful bit of information. And remember to hydrate like a fish, take a good deep breath, maybe look at some nature, and eat some balanced meals, ladies. Have a great day. Hugging you real big. Catch you next time. Bye.